The Dead Pair Podcast is brought to you by the Elite Experience, Elite Shotguns, and is fueled by Fiocchi.
Paul?
Welcome to the Dead Pair Podcast, coming in hot with everything you want to hear about sporting clays.
Guy Fieri.
How are you, gentlemen? Thanks for having me.
Anthony Matarese Jr., how you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty well.
Welcome back, David Radulovich.
That's a net positive 30 minutes. Brad Kidd.
Corey Cruz. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Now I feel awkward.
With your hosts, Jason Rambo.
No more Red Bull for you.
And Sean Alley.
Woo, yeah!
Christmas.
Let's do it.
Often imitated, but never duplicated. It's the Dead Pair Podcast. And now, it's showtime.
What's up, Mr. Large and in charge?
Oh, not much. What's up with you, buddy?
Back to the great state of Ohio, I guess you could say.
Yeah, well, how was that trip out in California?
Dude, I'm telling you right now, and anybody listening to this, there has been such a misconception, and I mean, I'm guilty of it, right? Of flying into California with your shotgun.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing could be further from the truth as far as, like, problems, okay?
Okay.
I flew into John Wayne, which is in Orange County, and I had an easier time getting in and out of Orange County with my shotgun than I do in Columbus.
Really?
Yes.
Because Columbus is pretty smooth.
Yeah, and then this was like butter. But you know what? It's more than that. So I got to go out and spend the week with our buddy Chad.
Right.
And he took me to some fabulous clubs. If you're listening to this, you should be watching this because we've got this all on video. Most of the video you're seeing right now is from LA Clays, but there's also a video up that I did from More and More, and I also did from Rahagis. And I'm going to tell you what, Sean, the sporting clays world out there in California is hot and heavy.
Well, I was going to ask you what the vibe's like, because, I mean, you know, I think most people have the stereotype of, you know, California.
Yeah.
And the anti-gun movement is the strongest out there. I mean, we see all the stuff, and we see all the stuff in the news. So you're saying it's not like that?
It's not at all, at least not in the sporting world. I mean, I'm sure other shooting sports may have some, you know, some kickback or pushback, if you will. The politics in California, I mean, everybody that lives there told me the same thing. Our politics suck, but our shooting here is awesome.
Well, that's
and
refreshing to hear.
And they're hitting the nail on the head. I mean, it's, you know, it was LA Clays and June and Betsy, she's the owner. And you're going to hear interviews here in just a second from them. Just so welcoming. I mean, everybody there was so welcoming. You would not believe the amount of people that I ran into that, man, we love the podcast. I mean, they're very active in the listening to the podcast and shooting and register tournaments. I mean,
cool.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
And I think that they did they break a record this year for attendance?
They did. They broke a record for their state shoot in attendance. It's the largest ever.
Good deal. Good deal.
I think it was just over 330.
Nice.
Which is good. You know, good for them.
Absolutely.
And they're excited now. They're even more excited about next year, and they're already starting to plan, which is amazing. You guys are going to see some really cool trophies here in just a second on the video. They had these really cool engraved cowbells, and they had belt buckles and money clips, and they spent some big money on that stuff. But they wanted to, again, they're kind of feeding off of what some of these other state shoots do, is the experience, right? Like we talked about at Ohio State.
Right.
And they wanted the shooters to have a good experience, and everybody there was smiles the whole time. They were having a blast. The targets were awesome. I mean, all the clubs I visited, the targets were awesome, but specifically this podcast is about the California State Championship, and I'm telling you right now, June did a fabulous job. You're going to hear some of that in the interviews. You're going to get to see some of that, too, here in this video.
Cool.
But, you know, I want to give another real quick shout-out. It wasn't just Betsy, who is the owner of LA Clays. It wasn't just June, which is a general manager. You know, he was on for the California State preview.
Right.
But Tom John and his lovely wife, Grace Choe, they were so friendly to me, and they were very, very appreciative of not only us, meaning you and I, Sean, for the podcast, but the listeners of the podcast. There were so many people that were there that told them that, hey, we came here because we heard this and we're excited to be here.
That's cool. So, that's good to know.
But it's, you guys take a look at this video, listen to some of these interviews, and I think you're going to like what we got in store here. I am sitting here with Betsy and June. Betsy is the owner of LA Clays. Betsy, how you doing?
I'm doing great, thanks.
And you were kind of excited. I was talking to you last night. You were getting nervous there if you were going to hit that 300 mark, and you beat it.
We beat it and we exceeded it beyond our expectations. We had 331 total shooters here at the state shoot this year.
That's awesome. And Jun, you made the comment to me, that's a record breaker for California, right?
Yes, by far. Actually, 318 was the previous record. Now we're at 331.
Betsy's the owner of LA Clays and hosting the state shoot. What does it mean to you? And, what were you looking for out of this state shoot? And, did it meet or exceed your expectations? Not just by numbers, but the overall, how everything went.
Well, I think after the pandemic, we're just so happy to see all of our friends coming back out to the range to shoot, to compete. This industry really does attract the most fantastic people. And we're really lucky to have this beautiful facility to be able to accommodate all of these folks out here in Southern California. So it's been a real, it's been a pleasure for us. So we're happy.
Now, Jun, your official title is operations manager, correct?
Yes,
is that right? And you set the targets for all the events, or did you have a
minus pump, side by side, and 410, and then the rest I personally set them by myself.
Well, it's first of all, thank both of you for extending the invitation for me to come out. I got to come shoot with all my buddies out here on the West Coast and got to shoot the California State Championship. We won't talk about my scores. That's out the window. But Jun, I made a comment to you. We walked in on the station yesterday morning. Our rotation, we started early. And I was facing the sun. I thought, oh, man, please don't tell me he threw anything up in the sky. And you did a really good job, man. The targets were low. You weren't looking in the sun. There was a lot of effort, a lot of thought that went into this.
Oh, 100%. So, I've been with this facility for a long time. So I know every square inch of this place. So I know, the reason why we always choose the month of June to do the state shoot here is because of the sun. So in June, I can throw anything I want. I can throw a high target. I can throw a low target without the sun being there. So, that's one of the main reason why we always choose the month of June to host state shoot here in LA Clays.
Well, you made a comment, every inch of this place. Tell everybody, obviously they can't come out next year for the state championship here because I believe it's at Quail Point. Is that right?
That is correct.
But if somebody does want to come to LA Clays, tell everybody what you guys have to offer everybody.
Yeah, so we have 25 stations with 4 machines per station, 2 5-stand fields that's always set up. We have wobble trap. We have 15 overlay trap and skeet fields. We have a ZZ bird ring. Actually, we're gonna have 2 of them actually. And we have feed task once in a while. We set feed task courses out there. And ATA, we host ATA down here. We have the American Skeet registered shoot at LA Clays as well. And so pretty much the whole shotgun discipline, we have it here at LA Clays.
I'd also like to add that we have an amazing staff supporting our other operations, which we have a fabulous restaurant here on site. We also have a wonderful pro shop as well. And so we don't sell firearms here, but we do rent firearms. And we have a lot of sponsorship from our manufacturer friends. So we really appreciate that. But you can come out here with nothing as a new shooter and, learn how to shoot safely with an instructor and be able to have a great day.
That's awesome. I know Chad told me that's one of the things you guys focus on a lot is being able to bring someone out, whether they've never fired a shotgun ever in their life. They can go out with a pro instructor. You give them some shells, you give them some targets for a very, very reasonable price, and send them out with somebody that's going to get them pointing in the right direction. Chad also told me a story about being here at one time shooting skeet, and Tom Selleck walked up behind him. I'm like, this is kind of cool, So, what am I leaving out? Okay, I'll tell you what. Let's run through this. Betsy, what was the sponsors of this event, the people that helped you guys out for the California State?
So we had some fantastic sponsors this time. Big shout out to Promatic. We use Promatic machines here at our facility, but Jim Moses and the team over there did a fantastic job supporting the event. White Flyer, Beretta, RC ammo, gave us, got us loaded up with some good ammo for the event, long range, and also some of our local companies, Sunbelt, and some of our local sign companies. And then also the local high school, Bosco Tech, they provided us with some great kids to help facilitate, the polling and the scorekeeping. And they came out and trained and really did a bang-up job for us this year.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. That's one of the things I noticed. I mean, Chad told me he was part of the group that helped train the trappers. And for new kids that are doing this, I was very impressed how well they did. I mean, that was really cool. And they were polite, and, they would ask if they didn't know. They'd make a phone call. Hey, I don't know what to do on this, and they were pretty cool. It worked out really well. Jun, let's go back to you. Am I leaving something out, bud? Am I forgetting something?
Actually, you pretty much covered everything. So yeah, I mean, LA Clays, Southern California, the best weather in the whole United States. Come on down anytime you want to come down. Come visit us and have a good time.
Well, listen, both of you always have an invitation from the Dead Pair. If there's anything you want to announce, a big tournament, anything coming up you want to talk about, if you're running a special on something, let us know. Even if you don't have to come on for a full-blown interview, if you can at least just give us that information, more than happy to put it out there for you. We love it. We love what you guys are doing here. And I can't wait to get back and brag to all my buddies about, man, you guys got to go check out LA Clays. So thank you both very much.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
The Dead Pair.
All right, I'm sitting here with the one I call Billy the Kid, Ethan Starks. What's up, man?
Not much. How are you?
Good. So you are now the California State Prelim HOA champ. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, first of all, tell us how old you are, how long you've been shooting.
I am 19. I've been shooting for 4 years.
And you've won a lot of stuff in juniors already.
Yeah, I've won a handful over the years.
Well, come on, brag a little bit. There's got to be a couple wins you're proud of already.
Michigan State HOA. That's probably my proudest moment so far. Sub-junior third in the Winchester Tour 2 years ago.
That's awesome, dude. And shooting a DT11.
Yes, sir.
Sponsored by Bretta,
Cole, and Bear Pelt.
Yeah, I know we're proud to have you as a bear pelt shooter. I say we because we're all in the big bear pelt family. Is this your first California State, or you shot here before?
No, I've shot here a few times.
What was your opinion of this year's California State compared to years past?
I think this year did really well. There was a couple hiccups machine-wise. I mean, breakages, the usual, but overall, targets were all good. Every event ran pretty smooth.
Yeah, I think we only got backed up maybe once. I think it was on the main.
Earlier in the week,
Yeah.
I saw more backups.
Yeah, I didn't see. We started shooting FETASC on Thursday, and we didn't have any problems there. And then we rolled right into prelim and didn't. I think there was one backup in prelim, and that was about it. So it seemed to me like it went pretty good. What did you think of Jun's targets? I thought personally he did a really good job.
Yeah, I love Jun's targets. I mean, I shoot his targets every day of the practice, or every time I practice. This is my home club, so I've been friends with him for years since I started.
So okay, it's been a little bit different for me coming out here. The June gloom, as you guys call it out here, is just kind of starting to burn off. And Chad was telling me, he's like, dude, I'm telling you, it's just different sight pictures out here. And when I came out, I was like, I don't understand why I just missed that target. You know what I mean? Just things kind of look a little different. Can you explain that? Because you've been successful both East and West Coast. So what's your opinion on that?
It's definitely a big challenge. Just mentally, it's hard to pick up orange targets in the sky. I mean, you shoot here at 8 o'clock, you've got smog, you've got haze. You can't focus on anything hard enough, or at least to the extent that you want to.
Yeah.
And then vice versa. I go to East and I'm sitting there in the trees going, where is this thing?
Yeah.
I can't see it.
Right. Would you say the windows are a lot bigger here than out East?
Oh, definitely. 100%. We have very big windows compared to, Georgia last week. You're shooting targets within 10 feet of trees, and then Here you got a whole field.
Yeah, I mean, that was the first thing, the first day I got here, Choe was trying to get me to hold on to stuff, let's
Close to the bird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's been a challenge for me. I mean, I had a lot of fun. I didn't come out here to win anything. I came out here to shoot with my buddies and check out the California State, but it's definitely different. I mean, and it's something I think everybody should experience, I mean, you travel all around the country on the tour. Don't you think people are freaked out about guns coming into California? I got into Orange County easier than I can get into Ohio with a gun, and don't you think they need to come out here and check this out?
Yeah, traveling to California is really so simple. I've had more problems traveling to places like Georgia and Florida than coming back home.
Yeah.
So if that's a big concern, I would seriously rethink it and just come out here, have fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Ethan, I don't want to spill the beans too much because we got some stuff planned for you in the future. So, but for now, appreciate your time very much and look forward to seeing you next one.
Yes, sir.
The Dead Pair.
All right, a couple local hot shoes. Grace Choe and Tom John. You guys just finished up Sunday. Tom, let's start with you. No, you know what? No, ladies first. Grace, let's start with you. What did you think of the event overall? I mean, I know you're a past California state champion. What did you think of this year's state championship?
I mean, you know what? We had a great turnout. A lot of people are telling me they had a lot of fun. It was enjoyment for friends and family of all classes. It wasn't just for master class. So I think all in all, this is probably one of the best state shoots we've had.
Well, Tom, you're not only on the board, so you were not only instrumental in putting together the shoot, but you're a competitor as well. Let's talk about from a competitor's standpoint. How did you feel about this shoot?
You know what? It was a really good shoot, and I can't take credit. She did all the work. I'm just the name at the top of the board. She did all the trophies and everything, but I'm really pleased. We had a record turnout for this shoot. We've never had a state shoot with the number of people that we've had this year. It's amazing. And the targets, everything went off without a hitch.
Yeah, I was, I talked to Jun earlier, and of course he was the target setter for this event, and I was really impressed. As somebody from the East coming out here, it's a little different, The windows are different, the targets look different, they fly a little funny from what I'm used to, but he did a really good job. I thought the targets were fun. Mm-hmm. My score doesn't reflect that, but we won't talk about that. But I thought the targets were fun. Hey, Grace, why we got you on here? You were showing us the cowbells and the buckles and the money clips and all that, the trophies that you were instrumental in putting together. Talk about that real quick.
Well, I saw last year's trophies and I was like, you know what? With that budget, we can do a lot better. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to volunteer this year. So I went ahead, got a hold of the board members at that time, and I said, guess what, guys? 2023, I want to take care of the trophies. I've been traveling, and I saw cowbells actually at the U.S. Open last year at Rick Hemingway's place, and I was like, you know what, that's a fantastic idea. So I sourced it, and I found the perfect girl out of Texas to do everything custom, everything. And I really want people of every class to go home with some hardware that they're proud of. That's not going to go in a box or anything. You want them to be able to put it on their fireplace and be like, guess what? I got that last year.
Yeah, it's not just proud of the win, but they got something to display that's awesome too. So that's really cool. And we've got a little bit of footage of that, and we'll make sure and show that. Tom, you have shot many, many years for the California State. How does this year compare to all the years in the past for you?
That's hard to say. Some years the target presentations are better than others. This is a really good state shoot. The targets, we don't have the real estate in California. That's the problem. We can't put machines a long ways away throwing in. Most of our stuff is tucked in, and it's a lot different than what you see at back east. So as California goes, this was really good. The FTAS was over the top. We had the fire and interference with that on the 5 stand. Other than that, there was nothing wrong with the targets. But You know, they threw a great dinner last night. The shoot-offs were amazing.
We had the biggest turnout for shoot-offs
that we've ever had.
Yes.
Really? Is that right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. People don't
Usually-
hang around.
no.
And they hung around. They hung around for the really great dinner that they put on last night. And I was amazed at what they did for dinner.
Usually you'll see about 30 people for those shoot-offs on Friday and Saturday.
You know, it's funny you bring that up because it's never really talked about. It's, you know, I'm on a board over in Ohio as well, and sometimes you can kind of gauge the experience that people are having if they're sticking around for the dinners, if they're sticking around for the shoot-offs, if they're sticking around for the award ceremony. And I thought you guys had a great crowd last night. Of course, you guys roped me into announcing a little bit of that, but that was fun.
Yeah, you did a good job.
Better than Chad.
I wonder why.
Yeah, well, Rad, Chad, and I, at least we're good at something, right? So, but no, I thought it was awesome, and it seemed like everybody was enjoying themselves too. Every time I turned around to look, everybody was smiling, you know. So
we changed the format on the shoot-offs and went side by side, heads up. That's something that should be done all over the country.
I think that's really cool.
It gives everybody a fair chance.
That's my idea.
Yeah.
Side by side, heads up, shoot. One pair, one pair, one pair, one pair. That's the way to do a shoot-off, I believe. I've never thought that the shoot-off's one person in the cage and four standing back waiting is the way to shoot. Side by side and then rotate through and you're done.
I think that's an excellent idea. Your head's up right against that person, you know. It's very cool.
Yeah, it's not luck of the draw being the first shooter in.
Right.
You know, now it's pressure all the way through. Not one guy gets lucky and figures it out on the first pair.
Yeah.
You know?
And you don't have the guy back there watching pair after pair again and figuring
No, and
something
then
else
when
out.
we change to the other side of the field, they swap the rotations. Everything is fair. Everything's heads up, and it goes a lot faster, and I liked it a lot.
Well, it sounds like you guys have definitely got something to talk about for the next state shoot, which, by the way, is at Quail Point next year. Is that correct?
Yes.
Did I say that right? Okay.
Yes.
Is there any dates set or anything yet? Anybody know when that's going to be?
No, I don't know the date.
I remember it was sometime last weekend of April or first week of May. They have the best weather there around that time. Quail Point gets a little hot in summer, so they opted for spring.
Okay.
A little hot.
A little.
Well, when we
Well,
figure
it's
out that date
fine,
for sure, we'll make sure and get it up for you guys. Of course, we're working with Score Chaser, so we announce all that
also
stuff.
had a bunch of regionals before. So
What's that? Now say it again.
they've held regionals. So their facility is not like in the city like here. Their facility is what? 200 acres?
It's
So-
a big facility. And they have a lot of room. And last state shoot up there, they threw
Phenomenal target.
tremendous targets. I mean, it was just unbelievably good. And, you know, Dave's got I don't know if he's related to Dave or not, but he's got a young man he's bringing up, and he is really setting great targets on the level of Jun's targets, you know.
Well, hey, listen, we better get rolling because I know they got shoot-offs immediately here following. So thank you both. I appreciate the invitation to come out. It was a lot of fun. I think you got me hook, line, and sinker for another state shoot next year.
Awesome.
So, but thank both of you very much.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
supporting us, putting us on the podcast. You brought a lot of people in for us. We appreciate it.
The Dead Pair.
All right, I'm here with Henning Matthew. Henning, Sean and I got to shoot with you. I think it was the Krieghoff Cup 2 years ago
it was
at
K-Cup.
Nationals.
Yep, it was a K-Cup at Nationals in San Antonio.
Well, now listen, you're very instrumental over here in California. You run the Facebook page for California Clays, right?
I do. I wouldn't say instrumental, but I would definitely, we started a really great group called California Clays. It's got a lot of folks that's joined us recently, and really what we try to do is promote all the shotgun sports in California.
Yeah, I noticed. I mean, it's just not clays you focus on. I mean, you promote ZZ Birds, all of it.
Yeah, really what happened was I got lucky and got introduced to all the shotgun sports when I first started, and I started cross-training in all the disciplines, found friends, people that I enjoyed shooting with, and what I realized was that a lot of people in different disciplines didn't know about the other disciplines, so I felt like maybe creating a Facebook group would allow for more awareness about the other disciplines in California.
Well, for those that don't know Hanning, this man's being pretty modest. He can also get it done with a shotgun too. I mean, we shot with him in K-Cup. You lit it up pretty good that day, and a Kohler shooter at that, right?
I showed Kohler. Love the gun. It's a great gun. Max Light Sporter, 32 inches. Lately I haven't been shooting that much, but dropped down to AA, but it's probably where I belong. Yeah, this state shoot has been kind of a good refresher for me again. Remember everything that you kind of forgot. But I appreciate the kind words, though.
Yeah, talk about that for a second. It's down here at LA Clays this year. This is my first time being here. It's an awesome club. What's your opinion overall of the state shoot versus, say, previous years that you've shot the California Clays?
Honestly, this state shoot was a great state shoot. It was the highest attended state shoot. It was over 300. I don't know the exact number. I want to say it was 323, something like that. In terms of what was it?
I think it was 330.
330, okay. And the reality is that the board, the staff, everybody did a phenomenal job. This club always throws great shoots. This year just seems like there was extra on it. We had a great north versus south shoot off. It was all for fun, just to kind of keep things interesting and competitive, but in a friendly way. And I think the board and everyone executed really well on it.
Yeah, for sure. And next year it's at Quail Point. Did I say that right?
Yes, Quail Point Hunt Club in Zamora. So it'll be in Northern California next year. Quail Point's a great club. It's my home club. Great people there as well. They've held great state shoots in the past. A little bit different terrain, so you're going to experience a little bit different in terms of terrain. It's more hills and distance shots. A lot of chandelles, a lot of crossers and coordinating targets.
Well, Haney, thank you. We appreciate you spending a few minutes. Not only that, but we appreciate you letting us. We post every week on the California Clays Facebook page. Post our podcast on there. We appreciate you letting us do that. If somebody wants to get a hold of you, is it best just to have them reach out through Facebook?
Yeah, absolutely. Facebook's probably the best way to reach me. Appreciate you posting on there as well. We love your guys' podcast, and I appreciate you doing that also. And if anyone ever wants to reach out, Facebook's the best way.
Thanks, Haney.
Thanks, Jason. Appreciate it.
The Dead Pair.
I'm here with Justin Fox, quite possibly HOA champ for the California State. Looks like the scores are coming in, and you're going to sit on top of the leaderboard, my friend.
Yeah, I had a really good day today. It's just one of those days where everything just clicked. I started out with a 97 on the 5 stand and was able to finish on a 97 the day after that 95 I shot yesterday. So felt really good. I'm really proud of myself. And, this may be an individual award, but there's a lot of people that make up, be able as a team behind it to be able to put up a score like this. And so I'm just ecstatic.
That's awesome. Did you top the 5 stand?
I believe I did. Last time I checked, there were still a few people out, but I think some of those scores have come in now, and it looks like I might be able to win that as well. So,
I mean, I shot the 5 stand, the prelim, the FETASC, and the main. The targets across all events were phenomenal, I thought. This is my first time being here, but let's talk about you for a second. You've been here several times. What did you think of the targets for the state championship here?
June sets really good targets across the board, no matter whether it's just a fun shoot or if it's a state championship. And I thought the same as you did. I thought they were great targets all the way around. It didn't matter if it was a sub gauge or if it was the main event. They were great targets all the way around. And June and LA Clays is to thank for that.
It seemed like they were real conscious of both sun, wind. They seemed to cover all the bases and make sure it was fair for everyone. No eye test. Now, I love that. There was not one eye test out there. Justin, you've been coming to these California State shoots for a while. What do you think this year versus previous years as far as overall experience? I mean, I know you're stoked. You just won. Yeah. But, leading up to today, what was your thoughts overall for the state championship here?
Coming in, you have to have a mindset. And I set a goal a little while ago to where I wanted to really push myself this year. Because I hardly ever shoot these days, and just number of targets wise. And after I shot the Open this year, which is the first time I shot it in about 5 years, it just lit a fire in me. I was like, you know what, I'm going to come out and I'm going to freaking show up to the state shoot. And that's what I try to do here. And, it's just a great run event, especially down here. It's close to my house. It's only 35 minutes with no traffic. We're not going to talk about the traffic portion of it, but this is LA. But, it was just one of those events where I marked my calendar for this event.
So you said the U.S. Open set a fire. Talk about, if you could, you don't have to go into detail, but just give us a 300-foot view. What kind of training and preparation did you put in for this?
You know, I don't get to practice a lot. I work a lot, and so I just go to these fun shoots locally. And you just have to have a certain mindset in order to do well. I think it's more of a mental game than it is a physical game. And I mean, I probably only have 1,800 targets leading into this event. Some people only have 5,000 by this point. They've gone to many regionals and stuff. So the Open was the first big shoot I've been to in a while. So I didn't place that well at the Open. So, and I'm just a competitor, and it just lit a fire in my competitive edge to come out and start practicing and start doing what I needed to do to be able to have that mindset to be able to do something like this.
I know you've got people that have helped you on the way up. You got anybody you want to thank?
Oh yeah, my parents, my wife, oh man, my coach Jay, back in Utah. I can't thank them enough. So.
That's awesome, man. Well, listen, I know you got that celebratory cooler going. We're going to let you dive into it, man. Congratulations. 2023 California State Champion.
Thank you.
We'll talk to you soon, buddy.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Wow, Jason, that was a beautiful, beautiful course.
Yeah, it's kind of cool because it's similar in layout to Vero.
Yeah.
Just on a little bit bigger scale
I
because it's on a big circle.
I can kind of see that, yep.
But they got a lot to offer there, LA Clays. But what do you think of the state shoot?
No, that was great, man. I mean, looks like great target presentations. Lots of people there. Looked like the weather wasn't too bad for you.
Oh, the weather was beautiful. That's the one thing about California too. There's no bugs, and the weather's always nice.
Gotcha. So it's California, or it's Florida on its best day.
Yeah.
Without the bugs
and humidity.
And no humidity.
Yeah, right.
That's cool.
But I'm going to tell you right now. To anybody that shoots, and this is something I'd love to pick Zach Kingbaum's brain because he, LA Clays was his home club.
Right.
But the targets just look different out there. And what I mean by that is there's something about that color blue in their sky versus our blue sky. And those black targets just do some really funny things that you're not used to.
Really?
Yeah. And another thing, too, is over here we have a lot of short windows because we have so much trees and landscape and everything else. And over there, you're shooting from the trees to the open. So you kind of got to hold on to targets a little longer than you're used to, And I struggled a little bit when I started off there.
Okay.
Scores reflected it. It's my excuse. I'll use any lie I want. But a very big thank you to Chad Roberts. I cannot thank him enough. I mean, he was kind enough, him and his girlfriend Jen, to extend their home to me, to the place to stay. He took me shooting all week long. I had a blast, and I can't say thank you enough to everybody that was so welcoming to me in California. And I think you guys got me. I'm going back again.
That's cool, man. I'm glad you had a great time. I wish I could have made it this time around, but just wasn't in the cards.
Well, everybody's asking about you, so you're going to have to get over there somehow.
Where's the big guy? I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Add it to the barrel list.
I will. It keeps going deeper and deeper.
Yes, it does. But, hey, everyone, listen, there was a lot of new shooters out there. And, Sean Alley, what do we tell everybody every week?
Well, the whole point of this podcast, get people out there to the range, show them what this sport's all about. It sells itself. Let's face it, it's a lot of fun breaking clays with a shotgun.
Absolutely.
Plain and simple.
And it was a good example of that because there was a lot of people that were kind of like talked into going to that shoot.
Now did you run into anybody that actually specifically said they were out there because of hearing it on the podcast?
I did.
Okay.
And that's what I'm getting at. There's a lot of people that were talked into going to that shoot. And the comments that I had that I got were, I'm never going to miss it again.
Okay.
This was worth every penny.
Okay.
I'm so glad I made the decision to go. I mean, I heard this kind of stuff from people, and I think it's awesome.
Well, and that's a good point that you're making because, again, I think too many people, like you said, and me included, you included, have this mental block with California, with all the stuff we hear and whatnot in the shooting community. So it's awesome to know that you went out there and your experience was totally different than what you expected.
Hey, little quick tidbit. I got to give a man a bone here.
Okay.
You saw Chad Roberts on the podium with his students.
I did.
Yeah, his new training program, his new tournament prep that he has, landed 3 of his students winning their classes at California State.
I saw that, and I tell you what, Chad's on it. I mean, he's a great guy. I'm glad that he was able to show you his hometown and all of his shooting places that he goes to, and then obviously you staying with him. I'm sure you guys didn't get in any trouble at all. So
his girlfriend Jen had my wife's phone number, so we were kept on leashes, short ones. So
as long as you're within eyesight,
in earshot. Hey, no, seriously, before we go, everyone, first and foremost, thank you very much to Chad Roberts and his lovely, lovely fiance, Jen. I can't thank you guys enough. Thank you to Betsy. Thank you to June. Thank you to Tom, John, and Grace. And our own buddy, Hanning Matthew. Hanning, thank you, buddy.
Good old Hanning, yeah.
I know you're on there. Everybody that participated in these interviews, we really appreciate your time. And congratulations to the winner of California State. I hope you guys listened to all these interviews. He was on there too. Everybody, thank you again. Very heartfelt. I felt very welcomed. I felt like I was home. So I really appreciate the warm welcome from California State. And until next week, Mr. Alley.
We can't wait to see you all back here on the Dead Pair Podcast.
We'll see you next time on the Dead Pair Podcast.
The Dead Pair. The Dead Pair Podcast is brought to you by Elite Shotguns and Vero Beach Clay Shooting and is fueled by Fiocchi USA. The Dead Pair theme song was written, arranged, and produced by Toby Tomplay. Special thanks to the following sponsors: Bear Pelt, Rhino, Otopro, Dawn Grant, Atlas Trap Company, RE Ranger, and White Flyer Targets.